I'm cutting across to visuals from Rouse Avenue Court. Manish Sisodia there being brought inside the courtroom. Live visuals coming in from Rouse Avenue Court as Delhi Deputy Chief Minister, who's been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate, now being brought to the courtroom inside Rouse Avenue Court. Manish Sisodia will be presented in person, and these are live visuals of him being taken in, escorted by the Delhi police inside the Rouse Avenue Court. This is a day when Manish Sisodia's custody will be asked by the Enforcement Directorate. Anisha Mathur joining us right outside courtroom. Anisha, tell us again, do reiterate for us what is due to transpire in court right now.
Well, Nabila, today will be a very important hearing, not just for the ED case, but also for the CBI case. Remember, the ED has asked for 10 days custody of former Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, Manish Sisodia, in the money laundering case. Now, the ED, of course, is probing the allegations of kickbacks and money laundering, while the CBI has been looking at the allegations of corruption and deliberate change in the liquor policy. Now, the CBI, in the CBI case, Manish Sisodia has already undergone about 5 days, more than 5 days of police custody, custodian interrogation, and he is currently in judicial custody in that case. Now, his lawyers had pressed a bail application saying that there is no direct evidence against him, that all evidence and all documentation has already been seized by the agencies, and therefore she should be granted bail. Now, with the ED, however, stepping in and seeking his custodial interrogation, things would be a little more difficult for Mr. Sisodia. But right now, of course, as soon as the hearing begins, and my colleagues are inside who will be giving us updates immediately as soon as the hearing begins, the ED has to now inform the court why they have not been able to complete their investigation while questioning Sisodia inside the Tihar jail. The ED will have to explain why they will specifically need custodial interrogation of Mr. Manish Sisodia. Now, as my colleague Manish has been saying, the ED has said that he has not been cooperating with the investigation. The ED has been talking about confronting him with other witnesses, with other accused persons. They are also talking about tracing the money that has come in. And remember, under the PMLA, it is not going to be very easy for anyone to escape this entire question of the money trail. It does not mean that you have to have physically received any money from any person. Under the PMLA, if you have either received, solicited, transported, stored or used the money anywhere, or you were responsible for any of these actions, then you can very well be prosecuted under the PMLA. And therefore, that is why Manish Sisodia, as his name had been mentioned by other co-accused, by other witnesses in the case, as having been involved in this entire liquor policy change, he may be facing a lot of heat today and in the coming next few days. Back to you.
All right. We also have Srishti Oja, who joins us right inside the court hall. She's in fact right at the Rouse Avenue Court. We're going to try and patch her to give us minute updates coming in from this court where Manish Sisodia has been presented. Here we heard Anisha clearly saying the ED is pushing for 10 days custody. It could likely be granted, considering the ED has arrested Manish Sisodia in under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, the PMLA. These are serious allegations that there has been several irregularities, alleged irregularities in framing the Delhi excise policy. This is the suspicion that the Enforcement Directorate has, based on which they've arrested or sought arrest of Manish Sisodia, and they've now produced him at the Rouse Avenue Court. They will be pushing for 10 days custody. Anisha Mathur, who is tracking those developments, I'm going to go back to her. Anisha, what's the likelihood of Manish's counsel arguing against this 10-day custody that the ED demands for?
Definitely, Manish Sisodia's counsels are going to oppose this long 10-day custody. Now, my colleague Kanu Sharda is inside the courtroom and is sending us updates. And what she says is that the judge has said that the ED remand application will be taken up first, even as Sisodia's lawyers have pointed out that they are ready to argue the bail plea in the CBI case. Now, the judge is looking at the ED's remand application. Of course, the lawyers for Sisodia will get a chance to oppose that remand application. Remember, member, what their legal strategy is likely to be is to question why the ED needs custodial interrogation in the first place. This is an argument that they raised in the, I beg your pardon, in the CBI case also, that all documentation, all instruments, all devices have already been seized by the agencies. The witness statements are being recorded. So why is there any need for custodial interrogation? Particularly when Mr. Sisodia is a senior minister, particularly when he's a very responsible political leader who is not likely to escape from justice. And therefore, that is probably the line of argument that they will take again. But right now, I beg your pardon, what my colleagues are telling me, Kanu and Srishti, who are both inside the court, what they're telling us is that the ED Council is reading out the remand application, that the ED, of course, is saying that the expert committee views were not taken, that the government, the Aam Aadmi Party government deliberately decided to ignore the expert committee recommendation, and the South group, which is where the allegations against the BRS leader K. Kavita also arise. Though the ED is saying that the South group was given benefits, the expert committee views were not taken regarding the change in policy, and that is where the ED is pressing its argument that there was some money trail, there was some inside dealing that has happened, and that is why they need custodial interrogation of Mr. Sisodia.